Good morning, my friends. Good Monday morning, the beginning of a new week. And I had some thoughts that I wanted to share with you today. I'm Emma Rowena. I am a musician, a performer, an emerging author, an intuitive healer and reader, and a personal and life coach. Big package. And one of the things I like to do is to share parts of my experiences, the tidbits that I've learned on my journey from living a life in fear and chaos towards empowerment, towards more love, and more, hopefully, wisdom. And this morning, I had something to share with you because something happened to me this weekend. Actually, nothing happened, but it happened in me. I had a very interesting experience as I am on this journey, and I'm writing a book now, or actually I'm finishing the book, I'm editing it, and it will be published this spring. And the book is about this journey because I felt that there's, I hope there's something of value there for other people in how you can learn or discover your own worth, your own passions, your own truth, and embark on your journey and discover how this can actually be valuable, not only frightening. And sometimes, yes, it is frightening, but it's only frightening if you think about it as something frightening. When you're on it, you're on it. You're in life, right? No matter what you're doing in your life right now, you're living it, you're feeling it, you're sensing it, whether it's good or bad, excuse me, whether there's pain, whether there's joy, you're still on your journey. So what does this mean to embark on a journey? It means to explore. To me, it's been a journey of healing. And what happened this weekend that I really wanted to share with you, because I know there are a lot of people out there struggling with their own sense of worth, the lack of self-love, maybe you even attack yourself for whatever you do, whatever choices you've made in your life. I certainly have done, and I certainly still do sometimes. And maybe you don't know how to move forward, how to open up, and how to heal. Maybe you have a story of being abandoned or being rejected, large or small. I mean, even not being heard by a parent can be a traumatic event for a child. And if this is repeated, it will stick with you. It will cause some internal disturbance, some internal pain. Most of us experience this. I would say 99.99% of the human race today has experienced this kind of rejection, of not being seen or heard in their life, and more or less as a pattern, depending on your carers, whether they were able to love themselves, appreciate themselves or not. So I'm not going into the big sort of looking at your childhood story here. That's for somebody else to do. If you need help with healing, you can either go to a therapist, you can go to a healing reading like I provide, or get some other form of help. But there are things you can do yourself. You can start meeting yourself, embracing yourself on your journey. You can start to really, really listen. And sometimes we avoid doing this and we avoid our pain because it seems frightening, because it's been frightening. It is frightening. Your story. I mean, when you're a small child and if you're not heard, if you're rejected, if you're left to deal with things yourself, it's very frightening because you don't know how. And you're trying to figure out this thing, this being people thing. And if you don't have the good guide that can show you how you can actually feel that love in yourself naturally without questioning it, then how are you going to figure it out? And I do believe that we are born with this naturally, but I also believe that our story as humans has imposed on our race, if you like, a lot of obstructions to this natural flow. And where it comes from, that's for somebody else to question again. I mean, we can look at it at a metaphysical level, But there's a story, there's a history of humans of survival, and you've had to fight for your survival, and what the patterns come from, they can come from all kinds of situations. And if they're repeated, they become patterns, and sometimes patterns that make absolutely no sense to us as souls, as evolving human beings, but we still learn them. And when those patterns include pain, include a sense of being abandoned or being rejected or being not heard or not seen or not allowed to be you, then what do you do with it? As a child, you bear it, you carry it forward. You learn to reject yourself, maybe even attack yourself because you're being shown that that is the way to do it. That you are only worthy of being rejected or attacked. And we will carry these patterns on because we have been taught this. Now, on my journey, and this is what I want to share, on my journey, I have started to discover different ways of living, and I've started to be able to embrace myself in a much more loving and powerful way. I've started to listen to my own needs and desires. I still have patterns that I carry with me, and we probably will do all our lives. I will as well. No matter how enlightened you might become, there will probably be patterns that will come up. And actually, the reason I'm saying there probably will be is because when you're on a journey, and one of the guides that I followed for a while, Christy Marie Sheldon, she talks about abundance. She said, when you say to yourself, to your soul, I'd like to heal, I'd like to change, your soul loves you so much, it will say, yay, great, I'll show you everything that's stopping you. And so if you start to want to change, if you decide that you're going to shift your life and you suddenly find that everything is coming in your face, all the old stories, maybe people that you try to somehow keep away, or maybe patterns, maybe you lose things, or your whole life turns into chaos, it is probably because you have said, I want to change, and your soul says, okay, these are all the things you need to fix or release or let go of or heal, then you will change. Now, I had that this weekend. So I have been working on embracing a new situation here. I've landed in a situation where all my old stuff is coming up. And I'm realizing I might not like it, it might not be comfortable, but I'm realizing that this is my opportunity to heal these things. And this weekend I had some encounters that brought this up even more. And I landed in a situation where all I could feel was pain. All I could feel was grief, sense of failure. These are all old patterns that was in my life when I used to live here. This is my childhood home. When I used to live in this community, when I used to live in this situation, there were all kinds of things happened here. And they've all come up to the surface. Now, this includes some relations in different ways, but the main thing that these relations are showing me is what happened, what I have felt. Now, if you start feeling this discomfort, this sense of pain, very often we try to avoid it and escape it or meditate our way out of it. Yes, you can connect to your own source and you can heal from that way. But when it comes up in the sense that you cannot even go there, what do you do? What happened to me, not this time, but earlier, not long ago, somebody told me, a very intuitive friend of mine, she said, there's something you don't want to look at. There's something you're not looking at. That night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just felt it. There was this old junk in me that I had been avoiding, and in all kinds of ways, in everything from meditating to overeating to whatever it is, just trying to not go there. Well, I went there. I woke up and I knew I had to stick with it. And I brought it forward and I said, okay, come forward. And what am I inviting forward? I'm inviting the emotion forward. I'm inviting, it was to me, I'm very visual, and this is what I use when I work in a reading. To me, it was like big lumps of junk that it was stuck in here somewhere in my core. And I was asking it to come forward, these boxes, these lumps of very, very uncomfortable feelings, very, very painful feelings. And I invited them forward, knowing that I was doing this. It wasn't frightening because I was taking charge of the healing here. I asked it to come forward and be released. But it wouldn't be released until I acknowledged it. And as I lay there, I had to actually sit up and do a meditation and invite and continue the work. As I sat there, suddenly I felt a sense of peace. And I could go back to bed. Now this time, it was a different kind of experience. And I realized and I felt, oh my goodness, this emotion has been following me all my life. It was a sense of pain. And it didn't really matter what it came from, where it came from. I knew I had to face it. I knew I had to bring it forward. It took a while before I dared to do so. I had a conversation with a couple of friends, and if you have someone to talk to share these things with, who can sort of remind you actually of who you truly are, then do so. Please do. Please ask people for help. And then if you dare to let it come forward, if you dare to see it and sense it and acknowledge whatever emotion it is, whatever pain it is, without necessarily understanding or distinguishing, just, okay, it's all energy. Your emotions, your pain is energy. Densified energy, if you like, condensed energy. And that's all it is. But you can take charge and you can invite it forward at some point. Okay, this is it. This is my story. And then eventually you will, and it can take a little time. It doesn't necessarily have to take weeks. This can happen quickly. You can actually experience how this can start to release. Sometimes even you need to crouch and go into that really feeling the pain stance. Another coach, and I don't remember the name of this coach, unfortunately, it's a long time ago, but I remember this image. She said, if you really feel the pain, go down on the floor, feel the despair, be in despair, and see how long you can stay there. And stay as long as you have to. In the end, you're not going to want to be there anymore. You're going to be done. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is visualize. And I'll share this exercise with you now, and I'm going to do a meditation on it later this week. You visualize yourself. You choose an age intuitively in your mind from 0 to 7. What year? What comes to mind right now? And then you in your mind, you pretend that you can go to yourself at that age. Imagine that you go to a setting. It doesn't have to be right. You don't have to figure out what the setting was. Just go to the first image that comes to you. Imagine seeing or sensing this child that is you. Now the intention here is to heal pain, to help you to be loved. So with that intention, what age first? And then imagine going there in your mind's eye. You can close your eyes if you like. What is the situation? Where are you? And the main thing, what does it feel like? Probably some sort of a detachment or grief or pain or being on your own, loneliness maybe. There might be some other people there, that's fine. Whatever it is, just go with it. Pretend that you can see this in your mind's eye. Imagine that you can go there and look at this child. Imagine taking the child's face in your hands, looking into your own eyes as a child, telling your child, I'm here. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. And most importantly, I love you. You are valuable. You're the most important person in my life. You mean everything to me. Then you can imagine picking up this child holding her or him to your heart, to your chest, in your embrace. Whether it's an infant that you carry like a baby, or whether you're a bigger child, hold the child, bring her into your heart or him. And you can invite this child to come with you to today, in your heart, in your embrace. And you can always come back, either in that situation or any situation of your childhood, and look in the face, look in the eye, and remind this child how valuable, how loved this child is. This is a beautiful, beautiful exercise. And as I said, I will do this in a meditation later this week, so we can go deep into it. I just wanted to share this because your pain can be healed, but you have to do it. Nobody else can take it away from you unless you choose to go and allow it, acknowledge, feel it. Oh, this pain that's been following me. When you're ready to look at it, and the next time there might be something else, or a different, slightly different hue to it, or there's some other layer that's coming forward because you have healed another layer and you're ready to step forward into the next level. This is why it's coming up. Now, it's not the same as being stuck in an old pattern. Now, that's another thing that you can look at as well. If you have a pattern, you keep repeating it. My pattern has been maybe to avoid it, maybe to eat chocolate or do something, or even sit down and meditate, or try to sort of somehow heal myself without going into the depth and allowing this to come forward. That can work and it can help, and you shifting your focus, and I talk about this a lot, just simply shifting your focus to love, to your heart, is also a powerful tool. But sometimes it'll come up. Your story, your pain, your history, your sensations, your energies that you haven't been able to heal will come up. And that's when you can look at them and invite them in and be courageous. You don't even need to be courageous. You just need to, okay, this is it. Bring it forward. It's time. I'm ready. And when you're ready, you do so. And then you invite it forward. And there's no real, this is just something that happened to me. So I couldn't really say that there's a technique, except that you maybe speak to yourself and say, okay, or speak to your higher self or to your guides. Okay, bring it forward now, all of it, as much as you can, so that I can, feel it, let it go, or don't even, maybe you can't even imagine letting it go at the moment, but be with it until it goes. Sit on the floor, crouch, in the fetus position, whatever it is, until you cannot stay there anymore because something has shifted. You can only stay in that position for so long. Don't be afraid of that. We're sometimes too afraid of feeling our feelings. We're afraid that they're going to be stuck, that we're going to be stuck in them. I'll tell you a secret. What gets us stuck in our emotions is trying to avoid them. That's when they become frightening. It's when you actually face yourself in that sense, in that energy, that's when it becomes powerful. Now, I did not have my microphone with me today, so I hope that you could hear all this. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day, beautiful week. I wish you all the best. Lots of love from me to you, and I'll see you later this week, and I will schedule a meditation for Wednesday or Saturday, we'll see, but I'll let you know. And in the meantime, take care, acknowledge yourself, heal yourself. You can do it. Your soul knows this. See if you can trust your soul, and take care. Many, many blessings. Bye-bye.